Hello everybody, in this video I'll be reviewing my most recent Warlord boss fight, the flawless Warlord boss fight in normals, and providing a guide from that footage. I'm making this guide for Rogue, specifically. Other classes can use all the tips I use here and be successful, but just be aware that you will need to dodge some of the attacks sooner than I do in the video because you have lower move speed. Before you even think, I'm pausing you right here, before you even think about attempting this boss, you need to unequip all of the Philidian skins. The reason is because for some reason, the hitbox is messed up on them, and you can be hit by one of Warlord's swings. I don't know which one it is, but I've died multiple times merely just because of the skin. Same with Spectral Knight, you can be hit on that. So if you're ever wondering why these two bosses are impossible for you, make sure you check that you're not wearing a kitty skin. This has been a bug since those skins dropped, so unfortunately if you're a cat enjoy, you're out of luck, but we already know that all good rogues use the bald guy default skin anyways. There's no perks or skills that are a must-have for this fight. What I'm running in the footage is Jokester, Poison Weapon, Back Attack, Double Jump, Rupture, Weak Point. You can really use anything. It's just like a matter of how much DPS you actually want to put out. So, before we begin, Warlord has a mechanic where he absorbs souls and gets stronger with each soul absorbed. This mechanic stacks up to 25 souls, and Warlord gets souls from his minions he summons at the beginning of the fight, along with any players who die inside the boss arena. So, his minions will be summoned, and if there are any that are left standing, he will explode them and absorb their soul. And if you die in the arena, he will absorb your soul. The stacks give him increased move speed, action speed, PDR, and MDR, along with making his sword longer, so you can't kite him out as easily if that's how you wanted to approach this boss. I don't do that because I'm a Giga Chad and I face tank this mother trucker. This buff of him absorbing the souls and getting these increased stats will persist throughout the entire fight. Attempting this boss with a trio is almost trivial with a Bard for Shriek of Weakness and Allegro. I have a video on my channel called Trivial Solo Warlord. If you want to take a look at that, it'll be in the description. It's literally like a 5-second fight. Now, if you're doing Warlord, if your teammates do not know at least the minion phase of this boss fight, it's better for them to just get out of the arena. Because if you're still a little bit rusty on it, or you at least know what's happening, and you want to learn it, it's better to have them not die, so it's just, like, then the Warlord isn't super fast and super crazy when you're first learning it. So I would just say to, like, just don't be in the arena, because if they're going to die, you know, they're not going to help anyways. So starting the fight, your number one priority is to kill as many minions as possible. On Rogue, I use the Rapier during the entire fight because of its ability to hit multiple minions at the same time and keep good distance from them, and the Warlord. So one of Warlord's slashes can hit you even if you duck it when you're kind of close to him. So using the Rapier allows me to still keep that arm's length of distance, which is plenty sufficient enough. Whereas with like a dagger, like you hug him a little bit too close. Although sometimes I've still dodged the attack despite me being close to him. So it's a little bit untested on that. Now, I know I'm just like dumping a lot of information before we get into the fight, but I just want to make sure like we have the fundamentals here before I explain like what I'm doing in the moment. You know what I mean? So there are 3 attacks during the minion phase you need to watch out for, and every single one of them is indicated by the Warlord pointing his blade. He'll like take his blade and he'll point it like over his head and like at a player. And that's what is going to indicate a certain attack. So the first one is an AoE cone, and when you stand in this cone, you accumulate stacks of a debuff that once you reach 5, it traps you in a bone cage. This bone cage you can break out of, and if you do end up getting trapped in it, make sure you have your weapon out so you can start it immediately, because the minions can attack you through this cage. So you'll be rooted in this cage if you get all 5 stacks. Next, he will point his sword at a player, and the minion will teleport on the outside of the arena. So people always think, they say like, oh, the minion will teleport behind you. If you're facing the Warlord, yes, it will teleport behind you. So I'm going to draw like a little arena here. Just like kind of ignore everything else that's on the screen. I did the same thing for the Frost Wyvern, so regular viewers will be familiar with my weird method. So here is Warlord here. these are like the worst colors I could have chosen for this, but we're still here. So here's the Warlord, and let's say here's the player, okay? The minion will always spawn, like, so if you're looking here, if you're looking this way, the minion is not going to spawn right here, right here. He's not going to do that. Instead, it's going to spawn right here. It always spawns on the outside of the arena, like from the Warlord. So, you know, you could also be over here, and you could be looking, let's say you're looking that way. The minion is, the minion is still spawning right there. It's on the outside of the arena. The minion always spawns. So usually what I do for dodging is I run towards the Warlord, because then I know, here, let's just bring that up again. We're gonna not fill it in this time. So the minion will always spawn on the outside here. So I will always run towards the Warlord. I'll show you this in the fight of me doing it, because I do it every single time. It's a guaranteed that that minion will not hit you. Additionally, when you have these cones, so the cones that he summons on the arena, that gives you the stacks. Let's say, you know, you're doing, like, you're circling around the arena, right? Oh shit, like, there's a ton of minions here, right? And I need to, like, I don't want to walk through this. Your best path is to come through and go on one of these, like, anywhere from, like, here to the Warlord. There's a lot on the screen. I'm hoping you're understanding this. Like, this narrow part of the cone, because then you're traveling through less of it, and you're building up less stacks, because you get through it quicker. So running towards the Warlord is safe. Like, he can't do anything to you. It's just the minions until the phase is over. Okay. So then so he'll do the cone first, and then the next thing is he'll point the sword at you, and the minion will teleport behind you, not behind, but on the outside of you, as I just explained. Okay. Then the third is the minions. I'm using a different color. Hold on. Just want to keep everything consistent here. So player and minions. So actually, let's pretend like the minion's actually on the screen here. You just want to strafe. So there'll be like a clump of them. So like, I'm just indicating this with M here. There will be a clump of them here, and you are right here. So exactly where my guy is. When you see like this kind of clump, strafe the entire clump left or right, and you will like dodge it every single time. So give yourself enough distance if you're a slower class, or if you have like your weapons out and stuff. Some people like jump, crouch, and look down. That can also work if you get the timing correct for that. But just strafing left or right has never failed me, so I would definitely recommend that. Okay, so in High Roller, the fight will start off where you walk into the arena, and the first thing he does is let's say there's a circle. There's going to be a circle on the ground, and you need to run to that circle and stand in it. Otherwise, you'll be instantly killed. It's very clearly indicated. Additionally, in High Roller, after he phases through the minions, and after he's done with his minion phase, he will spawn 3 crystals like around the arena, and they will all connect at the middle. Depending on where you have set up the cones, because you kind of want to try to stack them together, but depending on where they are, let's say you're right here now in this arena, you might want to like say kill this crystal just to give yourself like all of this kiting room to make sure you can dodge all of his attacks, because if you walk through this beam, like you're going to take a ton of damage. Like it'll actually do like half your health in like just like half a second of you standing in it. So do not touch them. But that's just merely High Roller. Some people just want to do this for the quest. So those are the only 2 differences in High Roller. The minions have the exact same health, so everything else will apply for that. So you just have to know about those 2 different mechanics in High Roller, and other than that, you are golden. Okay, so let's start the fight, and I'll pause it and do all that stuff on the way through. So here, I'm just poking them as they get out of the ground here, applying my stacks, and I'm not trying to run a ton at the beginning because I want them to all run towards me. Here, I'm running towards the center again. Here's knives. I just strafe it. I try to drag my rapier to hit more of them. Here's teleport to the outside. Walk towards the Warlord. I know knives are coming. Point. Dodge it. And then you want to leave because... So, I didn't exactly touch on this a ton, but... after... So, it'll rotate 3 times. So, it'll be cone, teleport behind, knives. Then it'll be cone, teleport behind, knives. And then it'll explode every minion that's alive, and it will absorb its souls. And that'll make the Warlord's blade stronger, action speed, all those buffs I said at the beginning. Okay? So, now we have the actual fight here. So, this took me a while because all the other guides on YouTube are very misleading, and it's actually very easy to dodge. This one, there's no other move that looks like this. It's going to be a downward slice. Okay? Here to there. And you can just avoid this by jumping, crouching to the left. Jump, crouch to the right. My bad, not left. Jump, crouch to the right, and you'll avoid it every single time. I gotta switch back. Okay. Right there. I have double jump on, so it looks like it's a lot higher, but it's the same for if you had single jump. I just double jump just because whenever I jump on Rogue with it on, I just do that. But... Okay. Now, in the fight, when he does that animation he just did, he will teleport actually behind you. Now, it's not always directly behind you because it goes based on where you're looking at like a certain given time. So sometimes he'll be like a little bit off. So you just kind of have to like turn around and look for him just for a second there. And that can kind of mess people up because it's like now they might have to instantly react to a move because they didn't see him quick enough. But anytime he does that, he will teleport behind you. So here's where I find him again. It's the same move. Now, every single move on Warlord, don't look for like a certain like pattern or try to guess for like where he's going to swing. Literally just look right here. Look at his handle. Look at where the sword starts. That is 100% how you dodge every single attack. Except for the overhead chop. That's the only one that you don't need to look at the handle. You look at the handle. It starts on the right, okay? The handle starts on the right. Oops, hold on, I gotta switch back. Handle starts on the right.
No way.
I dodge to the right. Okay?
What?
Handle starts on the right. I dodge to the right. Handle starts to the left. I dodge to the left. And crouching and looking down during all of them is probably the best practice. Once you recognize which moves are specifically which ones, then you can just start to like strafe them. Because like I now know which one is going to be horizontal and which one's going to be a diagonal chop, like from bottom to top. So I just strafe them. But to make sure you guarantee, especially for the slower classes trying this, crouching, looking down, you know, getting your head out of the way of it as well. That will give you consistent success. Here, blade, it's on the left side. He's going to start from the left. Like I'm talking from the player's perspective here. So I crouch, look down, and go left. Starts from the right side. Go to the right. Right side, go to the right. Left side, go to the left. Now this attack is a little bit interesting because it seems like it's going to start from the right from the way he's holding it. If I like just scrub back a little bit here, you might think it starts from the left, but it's the way that I'm angled currently. If I was standing right here, it would be on the left side. So that's why I dodge left here. And then knives is when he'll do like a little spin move. You know, he'll break your ankles. He'll step back a little bit, and then he'll throw knives. Here, I'll bring up the little drawing again. So here's Warlord, and then knives will be indicated in yellow here. He will do this with the knives, and the one, so he'll always throw one like kind of directly at you. So if you just do a tiny micro strafe to the right or to the left, you'll dodge that every single time. You'll see that right here. Okay, so now that's phase 1. So now it's going to repeat the same minion attacks again. Remember, you try to clump them up here. Run towards him. Knives, you strafe the entire mob. Teleport behind, I run towards the Warlord. I don't have space, so I run through him like that. Knives. Now he exploded too. He's a little bit stronger now. Okay, handle starts to the left. Left. Okay. Starts on the right, go right. Starts on the left. Now that one is the horizontal slash. You don't technically have to, but just if you want to learn this boss, 100% you need to just like look left, left. He's holding it from the left. Okay, go left. You can, that one specifically though is different, but just kind of disregard that because it'll be more consistent if you can just simplify it like that. That's how I learned it. Okay, here's the teleport. Now this downward chop, you jump to the right and crouch. That one starts to the left, dodge left, and then he's dead. Warlord. Yeah, it's a flawless Warlord. Okay, so now before I end this and you go and attempt this boss, I will recommend some things. First, if you're gonna like AFK and like wait for it or whatever, pull up a bunch of successful Warlord fights on your class with your specific build and watch them. Watching a ton of these fights because you have a 1 in 3 chance when you get down here. And then additionally, you don't know the boss. So you want to make sure you learn as much as you can before you go down there. What I did for this boss, which made me get him on like my 5th attempt, is I watched like maybe an hour's worth of fights of people just successfully fighting the Warlord. And I like looked at like the Ryan 6 days a week one just to understand the mechanics. Then I watched all the fights. Then I also queued in a duo with somebody who was fine with clearing Inferno, and then so they could be able to res me because I just want to practice the boss. So I didn't really care about loot, so I literally would get 3 attempts every single time I would go down because they would just be able to res me twice, and then I would be able to do it. And I didn't really care for the loot because I just wanted to learn the boss. So now on my 5th attempt, I mean like my 5th like run going down on Warlord. So pause. What the hell did I say? Yeah, my 5th attempt, and so technically that was like my 15th if you think about it. And yeah, and then also in trios, this boss is extremely trivial, but you just also need to know that it's, you need to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. So yeah, so that's what I'd recommend. Watch a ton of the footage. I will have my own fight in the description, and as well as my trios fight in the description with a bard and a cleric, and then me on rogue. And yeah, so I hope this guide helped. Any questions you can obviously leave in the comments. I will answer them just like I did with the Frost Wyvern. I have my own Discord. I have my Twitch. Make sure you subscribe and all that stuff. You can come in my Discord. You can ask me questions about it as well. But yeah, I learned this boss and I love it so much. So I thought, you know, we got to teach everybody else because it is the best boss in the game. It is so fun to fight. All right, this has been PG. Some people know me as Party Chip Fan. And I'll see you later.